Yeah, thanks, guys. We thought we'd take the opportunity during this break to explore a little bit around the back of the paddock here, around the back of the pit garages, and use Peter's extensive knowledge of basically everything that's going on here. But we came across some Brembo brakes, Peter, so we thought we'd stop and have a chat about these. And automatically, I'm looking. The first thing I notice here between these two discs is the size of them. Right? What's the difference?
Yeah, well, we speak about the carbon brakes, like everybody's using in MotoGP carbon brakes nowadays, and they're all from the same manufacturer. It's not mandatory, but it's just the best that there is available.
Yep.
And the thing with carbon is, that's why there are different sizes. It needs a certain temperature. If it's too cold, it doesn't work. Therefore, you see the riders exiting the pit lane all the time braking to heat up the brakes. But also, they cannot get too hot. If they are too hot, they not break immediately, but they stop to work and you wear them out too fast. So they have to stay within a window of temperature. That's one reason that you have smaller ones and bigger ones. Actually, obviously, because the disc is part of the wheel, so it's rotating mass and it's unsprung mass. You want it as light as possible.
Yeah.
That's actually the main reason we go to carbon, because it's really, really light.
This is the one you ideally want to use.
Ideally, you want the smaller disc and you want the smallest pads. But if you find out that you're on a track like MotoGP or Red Bull Ring, but you need so much hard braking constantly again, then the maximum temperature that is in the disc will raise and raise up to a level that it's going to be dangerous. So at some point, the teams has to go to bigger disc. Actually, the bigger discs are actually mandatory on MotoGP and Red Bull Ring. There's no doubt you cannot use them. You have to use this.
For safety.
For safety.
Yeah. Okay, we were playing around with these just now, and I can't believe how light they are. It's amazing, isn't it? Obviously, that's the carbon effect. Why carbon, then? Is it just the fact that it's so light?
No, light is the first thing, because, like I said, it's unsprung and rotating mass, so light is technically very logical. But also the friction of coefficient between the pads. I mean, the pads are grabbing the disc by this caliper, and the friction of coefficient between carbon-carbon is really high. The result is, after all the technical words, the result is you need 2 or probably even 1 finger to stop a MotoGP bike from 350 to stop. So it's very easy to control the braking power. You don't need to squeeze very hard. So very light, high coefficient of friction.
Yeah.
These are the first things. But like I said, the downside is you need to have it, the temperature has to be high enough and not too high. So you will see that the teams are playing with different discs, but also with some covers. I think now this morning it's relatively cold. They will use, I think in Jerez you use the light mass disc, but still they have to put a cover over it for the warm-up, because otherwise they don't get up to the good temperature. Yeah. And this afternoon in the race, the covers will be off. Yeah. So actually, there's a funny thing. It used to be like in the rain, when you don't actually never brake really, really hard, everybody was removing the carbon brakes and had steel discs on them. Yeah. And it was, I think, 2015, Marc Marquez said, I don't like that, because steel, it's good enough for the rain, but it gives a different feedback on my fingers. I prefer to have the lightest possible carbon disc on it, with a lot of cover around it. And he started the trend that now everybody's using. So even in the rain, now they can do the lightest carbon discs.
Okay. Brilliant technical analysis of the discs. The big question, though, Peter, how much do they cost?
If you ask, you can't afford.
I know I can't afford.
You really want to have them on your road bike, on your sports bike, because even you or me, we are not heroes. You could feel the difference in the way the bike handles and reacts. But I pressed the Brembo guys a lot for the price. Give me a price, because they make contracts with the team for the whole year. But you have to say more or less at least 6,000 euro for one disc.
Whoa.
And then there is the mileage.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 10-year-long deal.
Okay.
Depending on the circumstances, 2,500 kilometers, it's gone.
Yeah, and one crash, of course, can be the end of one set of discs. Okay, fascinating stuff. Okay, we'll put one of these in our hand luggage, and we'll take these home, and we'll hand back to Diedrich and Patrick, because I think the session is about to get restarted.